And we start the show this week with breaking news. Late Friday evening, a jury found 66-year-old Robert Lee Stevenson of Crockett guilty of capital murder and the death of Herbert Andy Allen. Stevenson automatically sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The case was investigated by local law enforcement and prosecuted by the Texas Attorney General's office. The Messenger will have a full story in this Thursday's edition. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's edition of Houston County News. Yes, I'm Messenger reporter Greg Ritchie. It's so nice to have you along with us as we're getting back into school season, back into football season, back into fall. I'm not a big fan of cold weather, but, the heat index out of the 110s, 115s, I'll take a little bit of that. How about you? And we want to welcome you. This week on the show, we're going to talk about the last budget workshop. Some pretty interesting things went on there. And as usual, we got some clips to bring to you. Also, very special guest on the show, Captain Blake Gates from Crockett Police Department has announced he's leaving the force after 13 years. And this is all tied in with these budget workshops and some of the fears people have expressed about, could we lose officers if the city doesn't try and get some sort of a raise or an increase in pay? Well, our local police captain, first one looks like heading out the door. So we're going to talk to him this morning about that and a whole lot more, and it's all coming up right after this. This week's Houston County News brought to you by Houston County Hot Tax Funds, supporting economic development and tourism in Houston County. By Darling Ingredients, supporting our local ag students and ag programs. By Houston County Electric Co-op, power for your way of life. By the City of Crockett, paradise in the Pines. By Davy Crockett Drug, legendary service from an old friend. And by Dr. Mike McLeod and the good people at Texas Family Doctor.
We have to allow data centers to apply. We cannot discriminate. We are a utility. Anybody who wants electric service and applies for electric service, we have to do our best to serve them. That doesn't mean that it's for free. They have to pay the cost of whatever that interconnection is, but we are required by law to serve all applicants and provide electricity to anyone. There is enough electricity at this time, and there is more generation coming online. There are requirements for data centers in that study process to ensure that there's adequate not only transmission capacity, but generation capacity to serve that load. The data center applicant would pay for all required upgrades. There are no cost shifts to any other consumer classes. Houston County Electric Cooperative, power for your way of life.
Now, one of the first items on the agenda this past Monday at the Crockett budget workshop was the Texas 21 program. I know a lot of you are familiar with this, but basically this is it costs $2,500 a year, and you're a part of this club that helps promote certain projects. And they've got a ton of cities in it, a ton of projects. And this is something that CEIDC was very involved in, and Councilwoman Hicks was very convinced that we should continue to be involved in this. And really the specific project that they claim to work on this behalf of the city of Crockett is the 287. There's this long-term plan, again, it's only a plan, to widen that and make it basically an interstate from Beaumont all the way up to Amarillo. Now, this would be huge for Crockett. Imagine if you had a 59-style interstate coming down, let's say, the Loop. Well, it would be a game changer, right? It would be an absolute game changer for the city. Fair enough. But the best estimates, and I've talked to people at TxDOT and people really involved in this program, the best estimates are looking at 20, 25 years. So the question is, should we be a part of this group? Should we be paying these fees to join this little club and pay for people to go there and sit through the meetings and all the rest? One person who has pretty good inside knowledge told me, he says, Greg, I don't think that TxDOT or the federal highway people are going to notice if Crockett is in those meetings or not. On the other hand, a local businessman told me, he said, well, we should at least get a seat at the table. So Christopher Price had made the motion to go ahead and become a part of this and support this program. But in the last meeting, he took it back. And he kind of explained why, and it got a little spicy. Take a look.
So thank you, John, Mayor, Council. The reason I had asked that question prior was it was my due diligence to bring this agenda item back in enlightenment of new information that I had received. Upon searching the Text 21's website, it shows here that Crockett's representative for 2026 voting members is Miss Natrina Hicks. And my motion on November the 6th of 2026, July the 6th of 2026, this two prior meetings passed, was that the mayor be our representative and Ms. Hicks and Mr. Duran be appointed as alternates. With this information being on their website, that went against my motion, or it went against the city's, it went against the council's wishes at that time. And just asking Mr. Gabriel, had there been any prior, if he was aware of any prior knowledges or any changes, then if he wasn't aware of this, it was listed on their website. So with that being said,
I can provide some clarification on that too.
Yes, sir.
After you had brought that, we had gotten that to our attention, I did reach out to Mr. David, and he said that Ms. Hicks had told them to place her on the as a representative for the city. After I talked to him and I said that was not council's motion, the direction was for the mayor to be appointed. He recently removed her and placed the mayor in her stead. And so that's why there was lack of knowledge on the behalf of people that work for the company and not the director.
Thank you. Well, further to clarify, the reason that I wanted to bring this item back was to clarify the motion that I had made. I was unclear in the direction given to council, to you, John, in being that I just stated that representation be made by the mayor, Ms. Hicks, and Mr. Duran. I wanted to clarify my motion, but in light of this new information, I moved that my motion be rescinded.
Now, to let you know, Mr. Price and the rest of the council, my name was actually placed on there before you even made the motion. So my name was placed on there actually when I went to the convention in Dallas.
Under whose authority?
Excuse me?
Under whose authority?
Basically, he placed me there so that he would have a contact at that time. And he basically said until he get the resolution, he would need a contact person.
Then John Angerstein is our contact, ma'am. He's our city manager. If he needed a contact, it needed to be him, not a council member without council members, or not without the council's say so.
Well, he needed a contact person. Well, I'm just telling you, sir, how everything happened. And he needed a contact person. I did give him permission to put my name there as a contact person until we did a resolution, because I had been conversing with Mr. David Dean at that time. So all of this happened prior to you making the motion to make the mayor the contact person.
It's not a contact. It's not a contact person. It's a voting board member.
Representative.
Yeah.
So in order to make her a voting representative, so it's fine.
Yes.
But I would just appreciate that from now on. Just if you would have spoken with me to get a little bit more.
We all appreciate that when we're spoken to ahead of time.
Yeah, my concern is that we just have a representative, because we don't want to be left behind. We don't want to be trying to catch up. We want to be a part of Texas 21.
And I couldn't heartily disagree. I made my position known last time when Mr. Price made his motion. It still stands today that we do not need to be a part of this right now. As you can see, it's a big consortium of people from Houston and Dallas with their interests involved and not small town Crockett, Texas. They do not care about us. They don't care. And all they want is our money.
Well, I can't say they don't care, but I know, what I do know is I do know that that 287 comes to Crockett. And I do know that in the future, that if it comes to Crockett, that it also adds economic value to our city. It allows for companies and businesses to come here. We just dissolved our EDC, just cut our hand off for a second resource for our city. So what do we do now? I mean, how do we move forward? Holding grudges from way back when, or just we need to really look forward and let all this.
But I would also say if we have Senator Sessions and Representative Trent Ashby, if they do the jobs that we voted them in to do, that they would represent us on this project.
Okay, it's been moved and second. All in favor? Motion carries.
Opposed?
Opposed, I'm sorry. Okay. Where are we with that?
Well, that might be clear that we're still going to be a part of Texas 21. Is that correct?
At this time, there's
They
no,
just voted against it. They just,
He rescinded what he
he
had
rescinded.
suggested.
Yeah, he rescinded the.
So right now,
So he took it back, basically.
so at this point, we're actually not. His motion was, I'm not sure, is it what was in place doesn't stand or does it stand?
it doesn't, no ma'am,
Okay.
until council gives me new direction at this point. We did pay for the 1 year worth of membership dues due to y'all's previous action. At this point, by rescinding it, we'll possibly have 1 year of membership, but we just won't be
Well, being that we have
participating
that
in traveling.
membership, we should be utilizing it.
I can see if they'll allow us to be reimbursed. Other than that, they will be utilizing our funds.
Yeah, but will we have a representative? That's what I'm asking, from this council.
Not currently, no, sir.
Of course, the other thing that came up during those budget meetings was the swimming pool. Now, the city has about $725,000 saved up to use for parks, and they haven't touched it. They've been saving it for a swimming pool, even though a swimming pool is going to cost much more than that. They're hoping to add a grant to that. Now, the grant has not come through. They're saying it could be another 7-8 months before we even find out if we're going to get the grant or not. Nobody's really sure. And there was quite a little debate about the swimming pool. And Councilman Hudson Duran had some, I thought, pretty decent, interesting thoughts. The mayor, I think, had seen the messenger. I came out with an article last week talking about Lufkin swimming pool shutting down. We've heard now Rusk has shut down. Palestine has shut down. It's not just the construction, it's the upkeep, it's the chemicals, it's the surveillance, making sure there's no fights or any alcoholic beverages or anything going on like that. Then it's the lifeguards. If Lufkin can't find lifeguards, what chance do we have? Let's have a look at that. It was pretty interesting.
What was typically a 90-day turnaround on sending us notice of award, whether we get the grant or we don't get the grant, and the placement of it has been moved to a projection of spring 2027. So it'll be, 6 months to, 6 to probably 8 months or so before we get notice of whether we get the grant or we don't get the grant.
I guess I don't know where the article in the paper came about the swimming pool and the problem that Lufkin was having, whether it was intertwined with that or whatever. But it was a reminder that the pool itself is an expensive. I'm for a pool. I want a pool. I love a pool, and I think it's something. But I think if we can get funding for it, because it wasn't ever a cheap proposition. We found out when we jumped in the bottom of the pool and it was bounceable, or you could bounce in a concrete pool. I knew there was a danger there, so I knew it wasn't feasible for us to try to fix it. But I think if we can, 6 to 9 months, 7 months or whatever it was, I missed
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
I think it is a time limit that would be worth the cost if we were going to get something out of it. But either way, we're in we're in the process of budget. We're not going to really be able to address it fully in this budget because we've run out of time and funding. So I believe that we really need to have a pool, and I think that it's a good thing that we're still pursuing options for it. So.
I would like to, Mayor, I would like to ask, basically, how many times have we applied for grants? How many grants have we applied for and been?
For this pool, this is the second time that we've applied for it,
Okay.
for this project.
So are we gonna continue, like if we don't, we're moving forward, if we don't get approved for this grant, so what are we looking at moving forward?
Council in spring told me, let's apply for it, and then once we receive notice of worst case, we don't get funded, then we would discuss it then, what our options were.
So options were, so we are, being that the funds are for the pool, we are still looking at, once we found out the results of the grant, we're still looking at, because that money is designated for the pool, correct? So
The money was set aside by council for the pool.
Okay.
Council can make decisions on that money. They can choose not to set it aside any longer, but that was what council has, at our last discussion, said to do, to set those funds aside for the pool.
And so what was the amount of those funds?
$725,000 is what's in the fund for the swimming pool.
Okay, so did we use any of those funds for because we used some funds for the animal shelter to redo the animal shelter at all, or what do we do?
No, we purchased the animal shelter from the South Pine. We purchased the animal shelter when they sold it using ARPA funds. That's what we bought that building with that we're currently using.
So that's where I'm at with that, is that we value our animals more than we value our children. So because I'm just asking, because you use ARPA funds when you knew we had a project, a pool that already had funds available. All we had to do was add funds to that to make that pool
a small portion of it
for those children.
A small portion was used for the animal shelter. We purchased police vehicles, we purchased street equipment, we purchased lots of items that council approved.
Building on what Ms. Hicks said, I believe we should invest in our children heavily, and I get the need for a pool, and and building on what she said as well, we don't have economic development, and I'm not going to even touch that one. But we want to bring money into Crockett. Well, instead of investing in a pool that's not going to do anything except be a drain on our budget, why don't we reinvest that in like the baseball fields or the soccer fields and start hosting like travel ball tournaments? I know for a fact that, if we host a couple travel ball tournaments, we redo the fields, maybe AstroTurf the inside or the infield, put some lights up and start hosting something. We could bring in $15,000, $20,000 on a weekend. You're talking 6 teams come in with 12 kids, 12 kids plus their parents. I can promise you, because I've had to travel doing that stuff.
Yes.
It's expensive, and they're going to bring that here to Crockett, Texas. We don't know what kind of businesses that could get to us. So we're investing in the kids. We're investing in. I'm sorry, Mayor. We're investing in the kids here because those fields will be around and available 365 days out of the year. Also, we can do tournaments because baseball, softball, soccer, they play year round. I don't care if it's hot, cold, or whatever. We could also do like John was talking about, or like in this thing, like a grant match where we put money in there. So if they want to put lights up, we do a 2-for-1. If they bring us $5,000, we'll match it and give them 10.
I believe in that motion also. I can't remember exactly when it was, but we would explore and do some research on surrounding cities and towns that had pools. But it's my understanding that most of them that surround us now have closed down because of operating costs. I think Russ closed down.
It's at Lufkin right now.
Lufkin, Palestine.
Palestine's closed this week.
because of the expense of operating costs. If we got the money to do it, but then we've got to operate it, and it's got to be maintained year round, not just 3 months while people are swimming, but year round. And I understand that. I've had several swimming pools in my lifetime, and I enjoyed being in the water, but I didn't enjoy the expense of them.
But the thing of it is, it's for our children, it's for our communities, basically, because we do have families that come back to the city. Not just that, though, my understanding, it was a commitment that was made to the youth of this community. It was also a commitment that was made to the community. So I think that we should hold up to our commitments. If we give that word and say that we're going to do something, we need to keep our word and make sure we do it.
I'm just thinking ahead 3 or 4 years down the road, and we run into the same problem that Palestine, Rusk, and Lufkin, has. What would we do?
Yeah.
Would we raise taxes to
Well,
maintain it?
Well, I'm gonna say this, and I'm an advocate for the kids. I'm
Well,
gonna say,
we have. I understand that, but we've got a lot of things here for the kids.
And if
We
can
can
raise
build another
taxes to
splash
that,
pad.
I feel like that we can do both. If that's the case, if that's the case, we can give salaries. We can also give our children a safe place. We can give if we give the animals a safe space, we should be able to give our children definitely our children a safe space. So I don't have a problem.
How is it going to be a safe place when we can't? Lufkin, Texas can't afford lifeguards. How's it going to be a safe place when we can't?
have lifeguards here in the city.
They can't fill them in Lufkin. How are we going to fill them here? Well, I mean, it's been brought up, so I make a motion we don't go forward with the grant. We pull from it. We take the remainder $725,000 that we have, and we utilize it for our parks that we already have, improving baseball fields, softball fields, tracks, soccer field, whatever the case may be. But it's my motion that we withdraw from the pool project because of the overall cost of it in the future that we're not going to be able to sustain.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion fails.
Protecting nature starts by acting like nature, giving every end a new beginning. And at Darling Ingredients, that's exactly what we've been doing for over 140 years. We challenge the waste mindset by applying the same circularity found in nature to everything we do, all while providing a whole new cycle of good that's born from the old, exactly as nature intended.
Stay in touch with your county government and get information about everything from law enforcement to the County Historical Commission. Visit co.houston.tx.us and get connected to Houston County. From tax and election information to updates from the county sheriff and local courts, you'll find contact numbers, addresses, and many of your questions answered right there on the website. From tax information to emergency management, click on co.houston.tx.us. Keep in touch with Houston County, first in Texas, first in our hearts. Well, folks, welcome back to Houston County News. And joining us this week, very special guest, old friend of ours, Captain Ben Gates from Crockett Police Department. Captain, good morning. Thanks for stopping by.
Morning, Greg. Thanks for having me on.
Well, we've been talking about budgets and specifically budgeting for our police forces. And I heard recently that you are unfortunately leaving the force. And I thought it might be interesting for you to come on and kind of be the face of what some of these decisions truly mean.
Sure.
Because a lot of us support law enforcement kind of in theory, I guess. But not many people, I'm familiar with most of you guys now, just from the newspaper. But a lot of people may not know names and faces and understand y'all are residents here and family and have families and neighbors. But before all that, for those of us who aren't that familiar, tell us about your background.
Sure. So, like I said, I'm Blake Gates. I'm born and raised here. I've been here my whole life. I'll be 34 in October, and I've never left Crockett, so East Texas is home. This year, if I'd finished out the year, it would have been my 13th year in law enforcement with Crockett PD. And,
13 years with Crockett PD.
Yes, I did about 8 months in Sam Houston State University Police Department, and kind of figured out that University Police really wasn't for me. I had been here for a while, then went down there and was like, yeah, I don't know if this is for me, so I'm gonna go back home.
A lot of kids sitting in the library looking at books.
Yeah, it was a little different. Great place to work. I mean, great job. I'm not saying anything
Sure.
bad about those guys, but just wasn't a good fit for me. And so came back about, I guess, seven years ago, and been with Crockett PD since then.
Well, you're certainly young to be a captain, for sure. And I know you've handled a lot of cases. Of course, the biggest one comes to mind is the Aunt Faye murder.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I know the big role you played in that. Even you went to, was it Colorado?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And talked to the suspect and all the rest.
Sure.
What does a captain do?
Well, wears many hats, as does everybody else at the police department. That's just something that comes with being a smaller agency, or
Right.
Obviously not having enough manpower. Is the workload doesn't get spread around evenly. I guess everybody has to carry a little extra load. So there's no telling what I might do on an average day. I'm over the property and evidence. I'm also the emergency management coordinator for the city. I handle all the supplies and ordering. If the guys need this uniform.
Wait, so you breathe in the fumes from the evidence room?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. For about 5 of the last 7 years, I stayed in that room every day. My desk was in there. And I finally said, man, I got to do something different.
Did the walls start melting or turning different colors?
I got so used to it that I couldn't even smell the smells anymore. People walk in and be like, man, I don't know how you stay in here. And I'm like,
what do you mean?
I can't smell it.
Not till you get home and you think,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've often wondered if I had to take a drug test, if I would pass it just because of the fumes in
Because
that
the
room.
what's absorbing into your skin.
Absolutely.
Why law enforcement? Why police?
It's kind of funny. I never really grew up wanting to be a cop. I always wanted to be a game warden because I'm a country boy through and through, and I'm passionate about the outdoors, and just always wanted to be a game warden. And so I went to college for a short stint, and I figured out, well, maybe I wasn't ready to go to college. So I decided, hey, I'll just go to police academy, give me a couple years of experience, and I'll get my degree online while I'm doing that, and I'll go be a game warden. Well, it's been 13 years, and here I am. So that didn't really pan out, but I've enjoyed. I figured out I really enjoy the investigative side of law enforcement. I think everybody gets in this job and finds their niche.
Yeah.
And for me, it was the investigation side of it.
Well, we talk about losing good officers. You recently announced you're leaving
Yes, sir.
after 13 years. Are you a family man? Do you have family here in
Yes,
Crockett?
I've got 2 kids and a wife here.
And I guess you've accepted a position somewhere else. Or are you staying in town? Or
Yes, sir. No, I'm going to be moving up to the Dallas area.
Up to the
Outside
Dallas
of Dallas. No way I could actually live in Dallas.
No, understood.
North Texas, I guess I should say.
Well, again, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm just curious how y'all, the officers at the police station, take some of what they hear from city council in particular and talking about budgets and priorities. And some of us are raising a red flag going, this is a priority. But you hear talk about, swimming pools and other things. And what's morale? What led to your decision, I guess?
Oh, it's just time for me to step out and try to do something else. I've been through this cycle of you work and then you think, well, we didn't get a raise this year, maybe next year, maybe things will be better next year. And I've done that year after year after year.
Yeah.
And I'm not starving to death. Make a decent living. Try to take care of my finances as best I can. But
Sure.
At the end of the day, with the economy like it is, are we still living paycheck to paycheck? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's just time. I got an opportunity presented itself, and it's much better financially than what I'm used to. And
Well, and thank you for your service, obviously. Nobody can blame you for wanting to feed your family and maybe have a couple bucks to put aside at the end of a paycheck now and again, right? Which is getting harder and harder, no question about it. What's morale for the officers? Is there anything you could speak to that?
Honestly, as far as the pay goes, the morale is not good.
I know another officer, I think, is putting in applications, thinking of moving on.
There's probably going to be several more, and I can't blame the guys.
No?
It's a tough job, and a lot of them are younger. They've just started having kids. They've gotten married. They bought houses here.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting into life.
It's not like they're mercenaries. They want to stay here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's something that's important. My whole career here, the first 5 years, it was a training grounds. I mean, we'd have people come in, and 2 years later, they're gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
We're finally fully staffed. First time we've been fully staffed, you know, for the last 5 years, we've been staffed. Have a great team, great officers.
Yeah.
They want to stay here. They bought houses here, but they're not being fairly compensated.
Yeah. And when they know they can go to work half an hour from here.
Right.
And make, 25, 30, 50% more money. I mean, can you blame them? No.
I mean, Bucky's employees make more than our patrol guys do, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere a single mom at the dispatchers would be on benefits on food stamps.
Mm-hmm.
As little as they're paid. What do you think it's going to take around here? Just again, unfair question. You don't have to answer it, but what do you think it's going to take for the city officials and the people in this town to understand this and really put some weight and money behind it?
Well, I don't want to put a black mark on everybody, right? There are officials that do support us and want
Sure.
to do, they
Sure.
have our best interest at heart, and I truly appreciate them. But that's a tough decision for them to be in as well, We've got to figure out some way to bring in more money in our community somehow. I understand that raising taxes every 3 or 4 years to give people raises, taxing on the citizens, right? But that's a service. You got to have the police service, the fire service, and even, public works. Those guys are super important as well.
Oh, absolutely.
For this city to keep running, the people working for it are the nucleus of everything. They keep everything running.
Well, yeah, but I always say, even if you pave the roads with gold, if they're not safe,
that's absolutely correct.
fire and police are pretty basic. Well, are you at least going to come back and visit us from time to time?
Oh, sure. I'm going to, I've got several deer leases here, and like I said, these East Texas woods are in my blood.
Yeah.
This is home. And who knows, maybe one day I'll end up back here when I finally decide to retire or whatever it may be, wherever the Lord calls me. But
Well, congratulations on the new job offer.
Well, thank
and I
you.
hope it goes well with moving the family and everything and getting out of your comfort zone. That's always tough, I guess. And thank you for sticking with us for so long.
Sure.
And doing the job that we all know you've done. And we're sorry to lose you, but I'm afraid you're right. You may not
be the last one.
be the last one. Thank you, Captain Gates. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.